We will go right ahead and get started. We'd like to start off the morning. Welcome world number 3, Jon Rahm, to the World Golf Championships Dell Technologies Match Play. Jon, thanks for joining us. I know this week is certainly a bit different than these typical stroke play events on the PGA Tour. You're making your fourth start, having made it all the way to the championship match in your first one in 2017. Just a few opening thoughts on the this whole breed of cat of match play and how you think it sets up for you physically and mentally.
Well, I love match play. What to say, right? It is the one time you play one-on-one against somebody else, and it's maybe the more relatable of the formats to other sports, right? I guess a lot of what you do is dependent on what the person in front of you is doing, and you don't necessarily need to be playing your best golf every single day, right? You just need to be better than the person in front of you, which is the beauty of it. It's one-on-one. It's a completely different game. I enjoy it a lot. I really, really like it. It's about, just trying to somehow get it done. Strategies change. It goes back and forth. Sometimes you need to be aggressive. Sometimes you don't. It's certainly something I wish we had more often. Now I love the golf course. I think it's one of those that really sets up great for match play. It's just a lot of play. There's a lot of holes that play different depending on the wind. You can drive some holes, you can drive other holes, you can get in trouble in one, and others. So it gives you birdie opportunities, there's bogey opportunities. It's a really fun week. It's a really fun town, fun event. Something I really, really enjoy, and I'm glad we get to be back here this year.
6 top tens in 10 starts, I believe, so far this season, including a top 10 on your most recent start of the Players. Just how satisfied are you with that, and your thoughts on your game coming into the week?
Well, if we take into account that I teed up with all brand new clubs this year, certainly started playing better than I expected. I expected some struggles at first. Now, with that said, I'm gonna say that I'm kind of getting, just wanting to do a little bit better on Sundays, right? I just haven't. I had a chance at Torrey. I had a chance at Players last week, a couple weeks ago. Sorry, and I could have been closer to the lead. Yes, I'm doing top tens, and that's all right. But I'm here to win tournaments, and if I'm not gonna win, I want to at least give myself a chance coming down the stretch, which I haven't done that this year so far. So I know this week is a little bit different, but still same thing, right? I've been playing good. I've been playing consistent, so hopefully I can get it all the way.
Okay, well, with that, we'll open it up and take a few questions. We'll start with Ryan Lappner. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Jon, good morning. Not sure the timetable, but is fatherhood approaching? What's the plan there?
I mean, I'm not going to disclose too much. All I can say is if anybody's thinking about betting on me on the Masters, maybe think about it twice, because there's a chance I have to just, turn around and leave that week. As far as I'm concerned, Kelly and the baby are doing great, so it is approaching. I mean, she is due the April 10th to the 12th, so that's her due date. So, yeah, it's coming up. I hear all kinds of stories, right? From people saying, "Oh, first one's always late," to people saying, "Oh, well, mine were early," this and that. So, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm trying to take it one day at a time. And I can tell you I'm ready to go at any moment's notice, to be honest. If it happens today, I can go to the hotel and be gone quick. So, happy about it. That's all I can say. If I could give anybody a timeline, I would, but nobody knows. So I'm just hoping everything goes well. I've said it before. If I have to leave any event, I'll leave. And if I have to leave this week, hopefully that doesn't come, when I'm in the final and I just have to leave after 9 holes, right? That'll be unfortunate for the winner, but it is what it is. Being a father is much more important than any golf event would ever be. So that's in my head right now.
And then a golf question, if I can. Obviously, Augusta played differently in November than in your previous 3 appearances. Mm-hmm. But did you learn anything from the November Masters that you think could be useful moving forward, or is it just kind of a completely different animal?
I played with Sebastian Munoz on Sunday, and that was his first Masters, and I pretty much told him, anything you learned today or this week, forget about it, because he'll never play like this again. period. I mean, I can tell you, I hit some shots into some greens. I hit a 4-iron on Sunday on 15 that was low and drove it into the wind to this back middle pin that landed an inch short and ended up 3 feet past. That in years past, that ball would have nearly been on the water on 16. So it just doesn't, it didn't play the same. It wasn't the same. You had to be very precise with the shots into the green. It was much easier up the tee because the ball was just plugging in the fairway. And chipping around the greens and putting, it was just slower, a little softer. It wasn't the same, not even close to being the same. Still placed somewhat like it because it's Augusta National, and experience is always going to help with certain areas you can or can't be. But very few years when we play in April, but we place close to those conditions, and the last few certainly were very different to that. At least in my mind, it's being your first year. You do learn a lot of things. You learn certain strategies of the tee, the lines, the winds that you might play, and just visually getting comfortable with it. But when it comes to the greens, they played, extremely different to what I'm used to.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we go now to Doug Ferguson with the Associated Press. Doug, you go right ahead.
Hey, John. One question in English, if it's okay for you, on this tournament. Sorry. So you win every match and get to the championship match against Dustin in your first year, and then the next year you don't win a match. I think you have one of them. Whether you've had a great week or not great week, do you leave the tournament questioning your form at all? Is it such a strange format that you really can't judge exactly how you're playing?
There's a beauty of match play. Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to judge. The true thing is, to get to the final, you need to play good, and at some points you're gonna have to get lucky, right? It's 6 matches to get to the final, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah, 6 before the final. You're not gonna play 6 perfect rounds, right? Like I said, some days, even if you're playing bad, if the person in front of you is playing worse, it doesn't matter. You're still making it through, right? So. It's a little difficult. Yeah, I mean, the first year I was, I think, the B or C player, and I came in and I pretty much shot 7 under every time I played the first 13 and won my matches. And then the next year, being the A player, technically, played against 3 guys that played amazing golf, right? And I struggled. So it's just difficult. It's not easy, right? It's very different from kind of pulling a score maybe. If you're having a bad ball striking day like I did at the Players, where you just managed to shoot a couple under par or even, and maybe have a chance on the weekend like Justin Thomas exactly did over here. If you struggle a little bit and maybe you might get to 18 or 17 but still lose, you are making it through. So yeah, it is a difference. It's not about judging your game. It's simply about beating the guy in front of you. And sometimes you get it done, other times you won't. It's a beauty of match play. That's why it's so fun.
Have you ever caught yourself looking at an opponent and thinking, I should beat this guy?
I mean,
even though you expect to win, I know that, but.
No, because it all depends. If it's beating you, it's either because he's playing a bit better than you, or you've made some mistakes, which consequently he's playing better than you. So you should, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, it doesn't really count, right? You just got to keep on going. I really haven't thought that, because everybody here is worthy of being here, and. Right, I mean, think about the final night last year, or last time they played it, Kevin Kisner against Matt Kuchar. Anybody can beat you. It's not over till it's over, so it doesn't really. Again, it's not over 4 days. It's 18 holes. Anybody can beat you in 18 holes.
Thank you.
Okay, next question comes from Kirk Bowles with the Austin American-Statesman. Kirk, go ahead.
Hey, John. You expressed how much you like match play.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Jordan earlier in the week, and he loves it, but he also loved the sudden death format they used to have before they went to the group stages and the pools. And he and you both say that you love it and you'd like to see more match play tournament. Is that possible, or with the TV responsibilities, you want to ensure the top 10, top 20 players stick around all week?
I agree with Jordan. I like the sudden death format.
Is it work?
We played so many events in Europe like that, if it wasn't sudden death, you had 36 hole qualifying rounds to get to 64, right? So I do like the sudden death. I don't know. It's just, I understand it's a little bit harder for the sponsors on TV because your best guys might be gone, but I think it's more thrilling. You're competing for your life every single event. Well, not your life, but continuing, right? It's just, it's a little different. I don't like this whole, oh, well, if he wins and then he ties. Because what happens, I'm a perfect example. If I have to leave, right? Imagine I beat Sebastian tomorrow and then I have to leave. I guarantee wins for the other two players. This is not fair. And it's happened before. And then you have this whole thing of, you know, who ties and who beats and a playoff and all that. And how sometimes somebody who gets 2 points can go through and somebody who gets 2.5 might not go through. To me, it just doesn't seem the best, at least for me. I'm so used to the sudden death. I think it would be a better event if it was like that.
It'd probably be more exciting for TV viewers, wouldn't it?
Early
Because
on
so
the
much
week,
is
yeah.
riding on every match.
Early on the week, yeah, it would be. Definitely. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And, hey, the better player is going to make it to the final. I mean, you need to play good. In this format, I guess you can have one bad day and still somehow make it through, right? So,
Right.
I think it defeats the purpose of match play a little bit.
Right. And one other question I have for you, the whole issue of live mics on the course, you know, we've seen, you know, it gets Jordan after he hits Rory with his tee shot and obviously with Justin. How big an issue is that with you and the players, and do you feel like you guys are being protected?
Oh, that's a complicated subject. It's a little bit different in golf to other sports, but this doesn't happen as often as it happens in golf and basketball, football, NHL. You know, I understand they want to hear what we're saying, but over 4 hours, we still need the privacy to be able to talk freely amongst us and make jokes around. That's at least my personal belief. At the same time, we are responsible for what we say, and we should be aware that this mic something could happen, right? But it's tough. It is tough. I wouldn't know how to answer it exactly. You know, we could go on and on over many different things. Because I've certainly been caught saying some things I don't want to say, but it just happened in the heat of the moment. And yeah, I mean, I bet there's a lot worse things being said on football fields, on NBA courts, and other sports, right? So, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to answer it. I think it's okay when we're, you know, if there's a conversation between a caddy and a player on the fairway and of the tee, it's fine. But then when we're walking on the fairway or maybe on the green, we're just talking to ourselves. I think we should have a little bit of maybe a margin, so we can just be ourselves in certain moments, right? I don't think people realize how vulnerable as athletes you are out there, you know, because you have cameras and microphones all over the place, and it's hard to be really focused on what's going on every single second of the course, right? So if I had to say, I think on the tee, fairway, yeah, just try to get us in a conversation. Maybe get rid of the mics on the greens. That's because we're talking to ourselves. Just let us be a little bit, right? It's about the competition, not about what we say before or after.
Yeah, it sounds like players are probably pretty united on this subject as well, don't you think?
I have no idea. I haven't spoken to anybody about it. I really don't know.
Okay, thank you, John.
Okay, it looks like we've got two more, one in English and one in Spanish. We'll go with the English version first. Dylan DeChair at golf.com. Dylan, go right ahead.
Hey, John, let's see. I'm just, sitting here listening to you, and I'm struck by you seem so confident and sure of yourself and really comfortable expressing your opinion. And I know you've always been, an honest guy, but do you feel like you've gotten more comfortable just saying what you mean over the last few years as you've spent more time around here?
No, I feel like maybe I'm asked more about certain sensitive subjects or more controversial subjects. When I started, I mean, you're not going to ask everybody just turn pro, hey, what do you think about this? Because you maybe don't have the experience now. Or maybe since I've been a high-ranked player in the world for a while, I get asked more questions. But I've always been comfortable with expressing my mind. I have nothing to hide. I'm a really honest person. I hate lying. So, one thing you get from me is an honest, straightforward answer. And if it's a sensitive subject, like maybe the last question, we'll just have to be careful on how to word it. But I always try to express my mind. I'm not a fake person. I can't be a fake person. I've just never been. You can tell by my facial expressions on the golf course. I can't hide what I'm thinking or feeling. So you're gonna get a straightforward answer. I've always been comfortable. So it's just who I am in that sense.
Interesting. So it's more a function of, being asked about the topics of the day instead of just specifics about yourself.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like the more of these I've done and the better I've played, I feel like it gets to a point where maybe people want to know what I think about certain subjects. Maybe some things affect me more than others. Because when you're on the PGA Tour Live week after week, some things might affect you more than others, right? Like the last questions. Then when I started on tour, when I was never one of those feature groups. So, but again, it's just, I don't know, I'm comfortable with who I am and comfortable with my thoughts and my beliefs. So you get a straightforward answer.
And do you like that? Do you like getting your takes out there? Do you have a little, I don't know if it's golf analyst in you or what, but do you enjoy that to some extent?
I mean, I'm not gonna willingly just start imposing my mind or expressing my mind on every single subject. If somebody wants to know and asks for whatever it is, I will, but I won't go out of my way to say it. Whether I enjoy it or not some topics I do, some topics I don't. It's I don't know. I wouldn't know how to say it. Again, depends on what we're talking about. I might enjoy it more than other things.
All right, well, we'll keep asking. We enjoy it. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll get one last one. We'll go with in Spanish with Gerardo Garcia. Gerardo, go right ahead, please.
Hola, John.
Hola.
Hola. Dos preguntas rápidas. La primera, eres un jugador que hace muchísimos birdies. Me gustaría saber, aparte por tu calidad, ¿por qué crees que es debido? Y la segunda, y aprovecho, en 2 semanas es la Copa del Rey y no sé, me gustaría saber un poco cómo vas a vivir esa final.
¿Cómo en 2 semanas? ¿La primera no es la semana que viene?
No, bueno, pero bueno, en 11 días, quiero decir, vale.
No, sí, bueno, sí, ahora, vale, entiendo. Bueno, empiezo por el Athletic. ¿Cómo voy a ver? Pues, a ver, espero poder estar en casa y verlo cómodo, pero hay una posibilidad de que la vea desde el hospital, que ni tan mal, Tampoco... ya tengo equipación del Athletic para el pequeño, para cuando nazca, para verla con él así. Eso lo puedo decir desde ya. Pero con ganas, la verdad, con 2 finales este año para poder ver, a ver si puedo verla por lo menos por la tele o por ordenador para verles ganar, ¿no? Sería único poder verlo. Y bueno, siendo match play a un jugador Cabo Verdis, a ver, hay un poco de todo, ¿no? Es un poco la estrategia, la calidad del jugador y la ambición. Yo creo que para jugar lo consistente que juego hay que hacer verdis, ¿no? Y yo creo que es un poco unido la consistencia de swing con cierta agresividad, ¿no? Y bueno, el jugar bien. No se llegan a hacer top 10 como hago yo y estar ahí arriba sin poder hacer verdis, ¿no? Pero bueno, eso esta semana es algo bueno. Hay que hacer verdis y eliminar los bogies. Eso es lo que hace falta cada semana, pero esta semana más.
Vale, pues muchas gracias y suerte.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, John, I had one last one slipped in the radar. We'll go to Shane.
Yeah.
Brian, Shane, go ahead.
Hey, John, how are you? I just popped in, and I apologize if you've already answered this question, but when you play match play, it's obvious that you have to react physically and strategically to another player, but I'm curious how things changed psychologically for you in terms of how you view your opponent when instead of being 149 people, it's just one person.
You know, when you step on the first tee, at least what I plan, I treat everybody the same. Whether it's somebody who's won 15 times, somebody who's never won, a rookie, not a rookie, an experienced player, it doesn't matter. It's a whole by whole basis, right? And again, you just said it, you're reactive to what the person in front of you does. So it's in match play important to take the lead and be the one who sets the pace, right? So you don't have to react to what he is doing, you're the one setting the pace. It's again, it does. Yeah, I don't see ranking. I don't see history. It just all that goes out the window. Like I said earlier, you probably didn't hear. Anybody can beat you in 18 holes. Period. You can have a bad day. You can have a good day. You can have a good day. He can have a really good day. Like it's happened to me in the past. I've lost matches playing great. Right. I tied with Matt Kuchar last year, and I don't know if we both were 18 under combined on 18 holes. Right. It was something ridiculous. So it's all about who the person, what kind of person or what kind of day the person in front of you ends up having. You can have a bad day, and you can have even worse day, and you're gonna end up beating them, right? So it's a tough format in that sense. You gotta play good, and you gotta get lucky sometimes. But yeah, it really doesn't matter what they've done and what caliber player they may be according to what rankings, even though if they're in this event, they're really good players.
One quick follow-up. It was interesting when you talk about you want to set the pace. Is there a way to do that goes beyond just playing good golf and making birdies? Is there other ways that you can set the pace that go beyond how you play?
Well, so imagine situationally here. If I tee off first on the first hole, right? And hole after hole, you keep piping driver, dead center, dead center, dead center. You keep hitting good shots into the green. And especially if you're a good player, you keep putting pressure on the next player, right? You're not letting down. You're not giving him time to breathe. And at some point, it can get frustrating, especially if you keep winning holes, right? So almost like no matter what I do, it seems like I can't win a hole. So that's kind of what I mean, is just being able to set the pace. It's like being on a playoff, right? If you tee off first and you keep putting the ball in the fairway, you keep putting the ball in the green, eventually you might wear the other person down. It's a little bit in that sense, right? Obviously it goes much more that goes into that, but if you can be the one teeing off first, right? That's why even if you're 4 down and you end up winning a hole, it's not only that you're 3 down, it's the fact that you have the honor on the tee and you actually get to kind of dictate a bit of what's going on in the hole. So yeah, I mean, it's an important part of the game. I mean, it doesn't always going to be a match changing thing, but you know, having that honor and being able to tee off first can be very beneficial.
Thanks, John.
Mm-hmm.
All right, John, well, we appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck this week. We wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you.